What's up, guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Void Horror Podcast. My name is Alex, and today we're going to be talking about the new Hellraiser movie from Hulu. Now, this isn't a trailer breakdown. It's just me gushing. So let's get into it. So months ago, we heard, we've been knowing about the Hellraiser reboot coming for however long. And a lot of people don't realize that it is a reboot. So it's going to be something brand new, something that is not going to be exactly like the original. And we have a new Pinhead who is played by Jamie Clayton from Sense8, which I gotta say, the initial pictures that I saw, I was like, okay, this looks kind of promising. It seems different now that the trailer has been released. Today, I can tell you from my own personal opinion that I am 100% stoked for this movie. Not only is the music there, the look is there, the aesthetic of everything seems to be on a bigger scale than I was even assuming that it was going to be. Like, they have a budget for this movie that is more than we've gotten in recent years, and it shows. Obviously, there's going to be some CGI, and there's going to be some practical, but for the most part, we're getting a whole big new universe of this stuff. Now, I have heard some complaints about this trailer and that there's some teenagers or whatever. Gotta say, man, we had our Hellraiser, you know what I mean? We got to grow up with that shit. This is their teenagers' Hellraiser now, you know what I mean? This is their new version, and we haven't even seen it yet, so let's not be too judgmental right off the bat. Although, I am pretty gushing over this whole fucking thing. And immediately I was like, okay, so what does Jamie the new Pinhead look like? And how do they sound? And the voice is freaky.
All for us.
Which I like. The other thing that I really liked, there was the new suits that they got. They look like some sort of cricket armor, like some fucking insect armor that is almost kind of angelic. And if you've read the books, these are like angels, of pain. And they are, they're demons and such, but they're like angels in a way in their world. So the white almost kind of makes sense. And it almost makes it kind of a little bit more disturbing, especially if they get blood on them. Think about that. I'd say that one of the main things that I'm really excited about, obviously, is that it's coming October 7th. So unfortunately, it's not coming to theaters, which is a huge bummer. But I guess we all get to kind of see at the same time, which is either that night, which a lot of people are probably going to be doing. I'm probably going to wake up to it and just watch it and then do a review of it. We've even decided to change our Voidtober. So we do a Voidtober in October where we watch a bunch of movies and review them. And we kind of try to pick some bigger ones and some underground ones to kind of mix it in there. We do giveaways and streaming for video games, the horror video games to scare me, which is going to be great, let me tell you. But we actually decided this year that we're going to watch a couple of the original Hellraiser movies to kind of kick it off for the one coming out on October 7th. We'll have that the first week of our Voidtober, and then I'll have the YouTube video for the new movie. So it's going to be great. I'm super excited. Also, did you catch that one Cenobite in the trailer? I'll try to get a frame of this. There is a black-eyed, I couldn't really tell what it was, and I thought it was Jamie, but maybe somebody else or whatever, but holy shit, was that kind of creepy and unsettling. When I saw it, I almost fucking cried. I was so excited about this shit, guys. I wasn't even nearly excited about this until just now. So, and the last time I got that excited was for the movie Color Out of Space after I saw it, because I'd never seen anything as close to that as we've gotten. Oh man, I would have loved to see it on a bigger budget too, of course, but for what we got, and the score in that, whew, seems like they're going to do a really good job on the score in this one too. But I would love to hear what you guys' thoughts on this movie are. Listen, I understand if you're not really ready for the new Pinhead or whatever. I would have been perfectly okay with a new version of a Cenobite or whatever. My whole thing is that I felt like Hellraiser needed a kind of a revamp. And if you've ever I used to read a lot of comic books, and Clive Barker has always been a part of comic books. He did a lot of graphic novels and stuff for the Twilight Zone own, and like all these different characters. He did like a whole run of superheroes that he made up, like in this short sort of anthology thing. He also did Weave World that he turned into a comic book, and he also did Nightbreed versus the Cenobites, which is Hellraiser, so it was called the Jihad, the Holy War. There was just some really interesting things in how they crossed over the like lore between the two of those and how they kind of connected them to fight against one another that I always thought was kind of interesting. And I thought, well, if hell is like this particular, you know, they rule in different areas, there's probably different sects. What I mean by sect is like groups, S-E-C-T, sect. I always thought it'd be interesting to have like a different sect fighting another sect in hell for dominance or power or pain, and who was the most painful one. You know, something like that I thought would be really interesting to kind of delve with and have different characters. But, you know, you're never going to please everybody. Like my friend John Hale was telling me, you know, you're never going to please everybody. And it's so true. It's like, if they didn't have Pinhead, people would have been upset. If they do have Pinhead, people are going to be upset. There's just always going to be something that everybody's upset about. And I want to leave you guys with this. Right now, I'm old enough to know what it's like to have lived through many decades of horror. I've been a fan of horror for a long time. My favorite decade is the 80s. I've loved 80s movies forever. So much came out of that decade that it's been really hard to kind of match it since. Right now, we are living through a renaissance, a resurgence of horror. Celebrate it while you can, because there are dark ages like the 90s. And yes, I know there were some good movies in the 90s, but it was a barren wasteland for a lot of us. It was a mainstream barren wasteland. There were some underground stuff, but we just felt like there was not as much as there was in the 80s or further in the future. So enjoy it while you got it. Be thankful for what we get. I'm not saying overlook flaws and whatever, but just enjoy it while we got it. And then when things slow down and we don't have any horror, bitch all you want, because I'll be bitching with you. How about that? Thanks for coming by, sharing a little bit of fandom with me. I hope you're as excited about Hellraiser as I am. I hope that this is going to be a really fantastic film. I am hoping that it will be on my top 10 for this year. So let's see. What do you think? Let me know in the comments section down below. Hit the like and subscribe button and the little bell notification if you want to see more of my ugly mug. Thanks, and as always, long live the void, guys.